The 1920s marked a turning point in American history. After World War I, the nation entered a decade of dramatic cultural change known as the Jazz Age. This era was revolutionary in how Americans expressed identity and freedom. This sparked reform movements that attempted to control these changes and ultimately refined modern American culture. At the heart of this transformation was obviously jazz music, but also black cultural expression, radio technology, and new social behaviors that reshaped everyday life for Americans. The Jazz Age was a revolutionary cultural movement driven by jazz music, black creativity, and mass media. It provoked reform efforts such as prohibition in reaction to rapid social change. It also refined American society by redefining gender roles, race, entertainment, and national identity. Jazz music became the defining sound of the 1920s. It originated in African American communities. Jazz opposed rigid musical traditions and symbolized freedom, individuality, and modern life. Musicians such as Louis Armstrong transformed jazz into a national phenomenon. As he once said, jazz is played from the heart. You can even live by it and always love it. Jazz was not just heard, it was danced. The Charleston and Lindy Hop filled dance floors with movement that rejected restraint. Youth culture embraced speed, rhythm, and rebellion. Plus, I'm sure we all heard of the Charleston at some point. Jazz rose alongside a broader cultural movement known as the Harlem Renaissance, centered in Harlem. African American writers, artists, and musicians used creativity to challenge stereotypes and demand recognition. Jazz became both entertainment and protest at the same time. While white audiences embraced the music, black Americans still faced segregation and discrimination. The Jazz Age helped expose the contradiction between cultural celebration and racial inequality. Not all Americans welcome the Jazz Age. Many believe jazz dancing and nightlife threaten moral order. In response, reformers pushed for banning alcohol, which is known as the 18th Amendment. In 1920, the manufacture and sale of alcohol became illegal nationwide. Instead of ending alcohol use, prohibition fueled hidden exclusive bars selling alcohol illegally, which was called speakeasies. This is where jazz flourished. Reform efforts meant to stop cultural change often strengthened it in the end, so sadly, the 18th Amendment didn't work. With big change, it's often accompanied by cultural revolution. With the ratification of the 19th Amendment, women gained the right to vote, expanding democracy. In case you forgot or didn't know, the 19th Amendment prohibits the denial of the right to vote based on sex. This effectively granted women the right to vote nationwide.
Women express their defiance in a variety of ways, sane and insane, all unmistakable celebrations of their newfound freedom.
Women's suffrage redefined Americans' democracy, while flappers symbolized new independence. Fashion behavior and expectations shifted, challenging traditional gender roles. And as the audio just said, women used that freedom. One of the most powerful forces of the Jazz Age, and that also spread jazz music into every corner of our nation, was the radio. Radio revolutionized entertainment by bringing jazz into homes that have never seen a jazz band in person. This technological shift challenged traditional ideas of culture. Music once considered improper or rebellious, now played in living rooms, blurring the line between public nightlife and family space. Artists who might have remained confined to segregated venues were now heard by audiences across the country, reshaping American taste and expanding the influence of Black culture. Though often associated with major cities, the Jazz Age reached Iowa as well. Iowa supported prohibition early, reflecting reformist values. In 1924, however, the Who radio began broadcasting from Des Moines, Iowa, connecting all Iowans to jazz music, national news, and popular entertainment. Through radio, Iowa became part of the Jazz Age revolution, showing how mass media refined American culture far beyond major cities. The Jazz Age was not simply a decade of music and parties. It was a turning point in American history, when culture moved faster than tradition and sound carried change across the nation. Driven by jazz music, Black creativity, and new technologies like the radio, the Jazz Age revolutionized how Americans expressed identity, freedom, and modern life. Although the decade ended, its impact did not. The Jazz Age taught America that culture has the power to challenge authority, provoke reform, and redefine society. The music may have faded from the clubs, but its rhythm continues to be in American life today.